Hello. This tutorial is to help you figure out weight painting if your rigged bird is not moving the way that you anticipated. Say when you're moving the head, the eyeballs are not moving with it, or if you're moving one part of the body, it's controlling a part of the body that it shouldn't. That's something that generally can be fixed with weight paint. Before we get into weight painting, though, one thing you could try is to select your whole bird. Make sure that you hold control and select the bones last. Okay, so I just held down control, selected the bones, and then redrew my circle around everything and selected it all. Right click, parent, clear parent. Okay, that gets rid of the former parent-child relationship. Right click, parent, try with automatic weights, try to do it a second time and see if it works. Now we can take the bone into pose mode. I can select the head. I hit R on the Z axis and mine is moving quite nicely. Okay. Yours might not be, and that's okay. We're going to work on that. When I hit R, it only controls that leg. When I hit R here, it only controls this tail. Okay. So that's what we want it to do. It's behaving very, very nicely. If I move this hip, see how it just kind of moves that hip up a little bit and the leg, and that's great. Okay, so mine is working really well, but you're here because yours isn't. So let's, if the redoing the if redoing the parent with automatic weights still isn't working, then there's another thing to try, and that's weight paint. So come back into object mode. The first thing that you're going to want to do is name your bones. So I've already done this, but I'm going to show you how. Take your bones and go to edit mode. Then up here in your scene collection, you'll see your armature. Click on these. When you click on a bone, you can open these up. So any bone that's connected to them, you'll be able to see what they are. So just click these arrows to open them up. When I click on any bone, it highlights the bone that it is. So I've named them things that make sense to me. So for instance, this bone is the upper spine, and this bone that's highlighted is the head. I named this bone the butt bone, and this is the tailbone. So to name it, you just double click on it and then you can change the name of it. So that one is called right hip. This one I called left hip, left leg, right leg, and so on and so forth. So just name them something over here so that you can easily know and understand which bone it is so that you know which part of the bird it should be controlling. So first step is to go into edit mode and name your bones. When you're done with that, let's go back to object mode. And now it's time to do weight painting. So the first thing that I want to weight paint is the bird's body. And remember, everything has its own controls, so you'll have to weight paint each thing individually. So I'll weight paint the body, then I'll weight paint the eyes, then I'll weight paint the legs last. Okay. So first weight paint body, I select the body and I come up here and I go down to weight paint. Weight paint is a hot and cold system, meaning red means it controls it the most. Blue means it does not control it at all. And green and yellow and orange are on the sliding scale, meaning that it controls it a little bit, with a scale going from blue being the very least and red being the very most. So you can see here, I'm in weight paint mode. I have the bird body and I have the bone that's selected. I'm in this little green triangle over here called data. And then here I have vertex group. So these are my bones. I have the head selected. So that means this head bone. And so this looks very nice. The head bone is definitely controlling that bird's head, and it's not controlling any other part of the body. That's exactly what I want it to do. If I look at the butt, you'll see that it's controlling the tail end, but you can also see there's a little bit of green color in here. This is set up with automatic weights. It's probably not going to cause me a big problem, but just to show you how I might clear this up. If I'm thinking that, oh, this butt being controlled here is causing me a problem, I can paint it all blue. Right now I have the weight turned all the way up. So if I start painting on it, it's going to turn this red. And now that butt bone is going to really control this area a lot. That's not what I want to do. I just wanted to show that to you. To paint it blue, I have to take the weight all the way down to 0. Then I'll start painting. And I'll paint this whole area blue, which means that the butt bone is not going to control this area at all. Okay, if you want it to control more, you would paint that area red. So I could technically start painting this red and make it control it even more. Okay, tail, very red in the tail region. This looks right. Right hip, controlling that side, and left hip controlling this side. Now, if I hit right leg, we don't really see anything because that actually shouldn't control any part of the bird's body. So, but go through and look at all these and see what's causing problems. Your right leg, your whole bird's body should be blue for the right leg and the left leg, because that should be controlling their talons, not the body. Okay, so go down the list and look at everything. It should be like, this bone, this upper spine bone looks like it's controlling the right area. If yours does not, fix it up, paint it. This controls the weight, so all the way up paints it red, all the way down paints it blue. In the middle is going to paint it something in between. Radius controls the size of your brush. So depending on your model and how detailed you want to get, you can play with that. And then strength just controls how strong your brush is. So if you just want to go a little bit, keep it down a little bit, I pretty much keep it turned all the way up. Okay, so next we'll go back into object mode, and now let's have a look at the eyeballs. So select the eyes, go back into weight paint, and now I see for head, they're painted nice and yellow. That's good. You could also try and paint them very red. Let's do that. I'm just going to paint them very red. You can hide the bird's body by hiding the cube over here. So that you could get in there and really color it deep. Okay, so now my eyeballs are colored bright red for the head, so the head should be completely controlling the eyes. You'll notice that the upper spine, they're not completely blue. They are a little like a turquoisey greenish tint, and that's because when you move the upper spine, it might affect the eyes a little bit. So that's why it's colored a little bit for upper spine. But the butt, they should be completely blue for the butt bone and the tailbone and all these other bones, right? These other bones should not have any control over the eyes. So just make sure that that's looking good. And reveal my cube again, and I'm ready to go back out into object mode. Next, you would do the legs. So I select not the bones, but the legs, and bring them into weight paint. They should be solid blue for the tail. The upper part is just a little colored if you look real close in there for the right hip. Right leg is completely red on the right leg. Left hip, again, there's just a little bit of coloration at the top, and left leg should be completely red for the hip, for that left leg bone. Then everything else, the tail, the butt, the head, those legs should be completely blue for everything else, okay? So just make sure that everything is color coordinated. Remember, if you want it to be controlled by that bone, select the bone, color the area red that you want it to control. If it's controlling something it shouldn't be, select that bone and color the part that it's controlling that you don't want it to control anymore, solidly blue. Okay, this might take a little bit of time, and you should go down the list and check everything because you never know what's causing the issue unless you check. But it shouldn't take too long. Once you're done checking that, you can go back into object mode, select your bone structure, put that back into pose mode, and now test it. And it should be at the very least a little improved. Okay. And if it's not, I would say don't get too hung up on it for a simple little tutorial like this. Learn from your mistakes, move forward on to the next thing that you're going to do. And at some point, you're just going to just keep getting better and better at Blender as you go. Just keep practicing, keep trying new things, and most of all, have fun and enjoy yourself. Thanks for listening to my tutorial.